everyone. I am Ritika Goenka. I am studying from ITM Business School, Kharghar, Navi Mumbai. I am interning with Dorai Foundation in the area of Fair Trade Forum. We welcome you, sir. Uh,
Thank you so
we
much.
have our beloved Kupusami Panchak Saram. He who is familiar with the name Panchu. He is the founder and the CEO of SIPA, the Federation of South Indian Producer Association, Chennai. He also worked at World Fair Trade Organization, and he also worked at World Fair Trade Organization Asia. He started his career as a youth or student social worker and later actively involved as a activist and subsequently as a social entrepreneur. So, sir, I request you, like, can you please tell more about you, what you have done in your life?
As young friends, you need to have some kind of fire in you as what you like to be. Many people are interested in business. Many people are interested in environment. Many people are interested in different things. It so happened during my student days, I got interested in social transformation of the urban and rural poor because I had come from a rural area. I had seen what is marginalization, what is oppression, what is kind of suffering for the next meal. So having seen all those things, I thought I should do something. So during my college days, I was university leader for the social service activities, and I had about 5,000 students working with me. That gave me confidence to work at the macro level. And following that, when I got the opportunity to get trained as a community organizer, I readily opted for that. This is way back in 72. So I was for a short period in US, subsequently in Philippines, working in the thickest slums, working with the very marginalized oppressed communities, understanding their problems, and the government oppressing measures as well as the opportunities that exist for them. So having trained as a community organizer, I belong to the first set of professional community organizers in India way back in 72. And we started working in the so-called congested slums in Chennai, which is equivalent to Dharavi slums in Mumbai. And I had friends who had worked in Dharavi slums in all the major cities in India. We trained a lot of people, and we changed the concept of social service to social development, wherein people have a stakeholding and have a say in that, not just mere recipient, but having a say in what they want, how they want to be, etc. That is what way back 70s. After that, when I was working with the marginalized, we started talking too much of rights. But as you know, rights and responsibility to go together. It is first step and second step. Otherwise, you'll be misled. It could be one could be misled. So I was wondering what next. That is when I joined in the so-called alternate area where we work with the marginal communities in that income generation activities. So people need to work to earn a decent living. And when they work for a decent living, they need dignity also, not just money, but dignity also. So between 74 and 77, I was working in the slum events of one of the outskirts of Madras slums, and started marketing their products globally. That is how I came in touch with the so-called alternate trade, which was something, and Mennonite Church in US doing something for the refugees or marginalized communities across the globe who had suffered so much during the World War II, etc. So what it means, it's a simple. For a hungry man, don't give him a fish, teach him to fish. This is the simple philosophy. So we started working with the marginalized, helping them to understand their potential, make them to do best, and demand best in return in terms of not only price but also respect and dignity. This is how I started my career, late 70s, and continue to be going for the last 40 years plus. It was known as alternate trade, then it has become fair trade now. World Fair Trade Organization (WFTO) is a global network having its headquarters in Netherlands, and we have about over 500 member organizations and businesses across 85 countries and promoting fair trade for fairness for all.
So, so as you have a SIPA, you are a founder of SIPA. So can you please tell about what SIPA like does?
Well, as I was moving on this journey from late 70s, I had promoted another organization to work smaller groups or artisan group to find their basically people can make good products, but finding market and decent market has been a challenge. So you can find market, but market between the producer and consumer, there are lots of forces in between, and they take the chunk of the margin, leaving very little for the producers. And also, consumer do not know where the products come from. We, I do not. I know where my shirt has come from. Do you know where your coat has come from? So this is what we want people to understand. Where does your dress come from? How it is being made? What are the kind of condition under which they are making, etc. So as I was journeying through during late 50s, sorry, 80s, mid 80s, as part of Oxfam, I was working for Oxfam, the globally known British charity, which has been involved in development support. It has a separate wing for sustainable support on marketing activities called Oxfam Trading. Under Oxfam Trading, there is a division called Oxfam Bridge, which was quite operating in India during those days. Uh, Late 70s and 80s, they were very active in India. So I've been asked to work in South India for them. So I had been working with the marginalized groups on this, all these 5 states then, now 6 states, including Andhra Pradesh has been bifurcated as Andhra and Telangana. So all these 6 states, I had extensively traveled, know the crafts packet, weavers, and what they produce, how they market, etc. So in an effort to help them to better market, this SIPA, Federation of South India Producer Association, was created as a producer network, craft producers. Otherwise, SIPA and producer associations always mistaken as film producers. In fact, last month I got a big voluminous catalog and letter from the Maharashtra Tourism Development Corporation. They're telling we are giving all these facilities for film shooting. Please help your members to come and shoot. So I had to send a nice letter. Thank you. We are not film producers. We are craft producers. So this kind of misconception is there, and it's also seen as Silicon Industrial Producers Association, Silicon Valley in US. So this is a sort of a synchronization of SIPA with the other organization, but SIPA is a network of producer groups, craft or textile weavers and farmers who are looking for change in their life, in their living opportunities to build their sustainable livelihood efforts. This has been promoted in '86, and we are 34 years now. We are working over 150 organizations across southern states, help them build their capacity in relation to entrepreneurship, production, and value addition, and do the consortium marketing. When I say consortium marketing, we help them to market their products, knowing well where it is produced, how it is produced, and we had only the service charges which the buyers give it to us. So we share the details with the consumers or the buying partners and give all the details. And so the producers get the good price and also the kind of understand their dignity value for their labor. This is what has been the efforts for the last 34 years, and I enjoyed doing it. And it so happened we are able to reach around 8 to 10,000 artisans, mostly women across these 6 southern states.
Sir, while opening SIPA, the Federation of South India Producer Association, what difficulties like you have faced and how you overcome with it?
Luckily, I did not face much difficulty. because I had the contacts, good contacts by then. SIPA was promoted in 86, but I had been working in the development sector since 72. So already 14, 15 years. And I know most of the producer groups across South India. I had traveled widely. I had a good backing from an international organization called Oxfam. And so building contacts were easier, but helping the producer groups understand the network is meant for them because they'll be happy to give you the product, take the money and go away. So I said, don't give the products. Tell us about the products. Tell us how you made it, how you can do the value addition. Make sure you give the best quality because even the poorest of the poor, we like to give the best to our children and we like to get the best for us or the better than the price that we offer. So I used to encourage artisans first give the best, then you can demand the best from the consumers. So value addition process and packaging and presentation, these are the things that today's the market is looking for. Many a time, poor artisans find it difficult. Say, why do you spend 10% on packaging? It's a right question from their side. But consumers, especially upcountry consumers, they want to have a nice presentation. They are willing to pay. So I said, as long they are willing to pay, there is no problem, but let us not waste money. So you do the eco-friendly packing and the way nice packing so that the consumer can have it. So, so good product, very good packing gets you a better price.
Yes, sir. Like as you told, like, you were having a good contact, so that you didn't face any problem. If someone want to open, want to start their own, then how can they can build the contact? Like in as you were a
Well, we are willing to mentor definitely serious mind the social entrepreneurs. When I say social entrepreneurs, I mean profit is not a dirty word, but profit alone should not be the motive. If your only profit is a motive, then you, without your knowledge, you may start exploiting, looking for more and more. But profit plus dignity for the artisans, better returns for the artisans, will make you to think them they are equals. It is not the poor artisan is looking for alms or favor from you. He is expecting returns from you. When you give them that respect, you feel so happy. So if anybody is that kind of seriously interested, we'll be happy to hand over them to an extent. Still, they can feel comfortable in their presence.
okay, sir. So, my question is like, how was your journey like after opening like SIPA?
Oh, the journey was challenging, but also I had, as I said, I had since I had contacts and the experience, it was much easier. During mid 90s, I had a very good order from Body Shop. Do you? I'm sure you know Body Shop.
Yes, sir. Yes,
It's
sir.
a global organization, and they are looking for a meticulous products. There are quite number of producer groups who work for Body Shop. Working for Body Shop is a sort of a prestige for any producer group. So I had a designer who happened to know for a longer time. She came and helped us to fine tune the product. The product was accepted. Starting from 10,000, finally the order has become 1 lakh pieces. So it was a great opportunity. So my team started working from 8 hours to 12 hours and 14 hours a day because it's a time bound. We had worked out a costing with quality rejection up to 2%, but my quality rejection was 1%. So I could save 1% of the order value. So I could share that money with the artisans and the artisan groups, tailoring groups and weaver groups, etc., were telling us, sir, it is not only the business that you gave, but the training, online training we got makes us feel more comfortable. How we can make garments for big brands. So they got equipped. At least 200 to 300 tailors were trained in those process for 6 months intensively, who gained confidence. They started working for bigger companies. So this is an opportunity and a challenge, but there is a lot of coordination work is required. And my team and myself, we are so happy to work on 12 to 14 hours. And I had lots of times in the midnight getting up and what comes in my mind, noting down. for what needs to be done. So these things going in your mind all along. And also, we should not stand on the false prestige. If you have done your mistake, you should be honest enough to accept it and and willing to change for it. You should not stand for a false prestige because it is not the money, it is the kind of understanding and partnership it's going to stand. So that way, I had lots of buying partners for a long, and that took me to over 40 countries across the globe. So between early or besides my first travel in 72, I started traveling from 86 till 2000, at least twice, thrice a year, mostly on fated conferences or presentation or market promotion tour. So mostly all these visits, at least let's say for about 45 days in a year, I'll be traveling abroad. And out of 45 days, hardly about 4 5 days I'll stay in the hotel. The rest of the stay with the friends. That means you can understand them. You visit, you get to know people. So we are budget travelers. So I very rarely I stayed in 3 star and 5 star hotels, but I loved staying with my friends in their houses or in their guest houses and manage a travel well. So this way I met a lot of people and lot of learnings, kind of design trends and quality product development ideas. People started coming and giving it to us. And another thing which I was so happy to say, people are people. If you think some people are with suits and everything, so big people and they will difficult to approach. No, there are also people who want to work at the grassroots level. But once they understand, once they feel comfortable, they are willing to sit. I have seen internet designers having a chow in a corner tea shop. I had seen the designers exchanging flowers, exchanging saris. I want to wear a sari. Can I have it for a day? So I saw people traveling, living in the huts. I'd like to see what is life, at least for one night, which you have been living all through. So, with the basic facilities, people started understanding people, and that makes your lifelong kind of friendship. So, these are some of the things I have learned over the years, and I had friends across the globe, and I enjoy working on fair trade concepts and the practices across the globe.
That was nice, sir. So, as I was going through the report in Google, so I saw like there was a conference at 2017 named the 14th WFTO Biennial Conference. So, can you
In
please
New
share?
Delhi.
Yes, sir. Can you please share about it?
Yeah, it so happened globally, probably I am the only person who has been attending all the 14 and the 19 during 2019 the conference was held in Lima, Peru. So all the 15 global conferences I was able to attend. Each conference I had vivid memories. In fact, during the Delhi conference, I gave a presentation what has happened in all the 13 conferences in a bullet point. So what happened 91, 93, 95, which country, what and how people, what are the interesting things, what are the personal experiences. For example, somewhere during those days, being a vegetarian, I had a tough time. Getting vegetarian food was a tough time. For example, 1999 in Milano, Italy, we had the conference. Along with few friends, mostly Indians, we are vegetarians. With great difficulty, we managed to get some fruits because because it's a budget organization. We did not stay in 5 star. We were staying in a one seminary, and so people have to have a simple food, etc. So before I could go and run to hold some fruits, other people take the fruits and say, "I am a vegetarian now." So that was a kind of peculiar experience, and very few times people find it difficult. For example, I was showing a product made by the leprosy patient, leprosy cured patients. When I told that without any inhibition, this is a product made the leprosy cured patient. The person immediately dropped like a hot potato. Oh, sorry, sorry, sorry. Then she wanted a kind of washing and a liquid, wash her hands, etc. Then I realized, I said, sorry, this is leprosy cured patients. Anyway, she was not very comfortable at that time. But after 2 years to the same person, I could sell about 5,000 tea towels made by the leprosy patient because over a period of time we are able to educate leprosy is curable. These are negative leprosy patients, and the product does not have any problems, and you can test it. It is being tested, proved, and they are happy to buy the product. So this is how we are able to take this product to the customers, and in the process we need to be honest. If you're trying to customers for a ride, it will not help you for a long time. So if there is a problem, we share the problem, and uh, we are transparent to the extent it is required in dealing with business. I'm also happy to be part of the global team just that evolved fair trade standards between 93 and 95 and 97. These 4 years, we worked hard enough to build the 10 fair trade standards, now which is globally accredited. And it's part of the global accreditation system now, what we call fair trade guarantee system, like ISO 9000, 14,000, etc. There is a guarantee system that the products are made on fair conditions globally. So we are being certified so that we can offer products in the market more confident. I'm part of that in the early days and keep track of that till now. So the Delhi conference brought about 100 over 300 participants from about 80 countries. It was well attended. Along with the conference, we had also side events like the fashion parade by the youth and students of Delhi School of Fashion Technology and NIFT, etc. And we also had a campaign, etc., which was very well attended. We had the 5 day conference with a lot of Indian food. It was a big fun for people with lots of business happening within.
Was nice, sir. Like conference was so nice. I after hearing. So, say, if someone want to volunteer in the social service, what would be your advice?
Now, if they are, as I said, to work with fair trade, you need a kind of social enterprise interest. Only you need to talk about business promotion. But when business promotion with sustainable development, many people come with a business background, which is very good, but they should have a heart to understand people and work with people. So if that is the case, national level fair trade forum is there, which again promoted in the year 2000. It's called Fair Trade Forum India. It is www.fairtradeforum.org. If you go into that website, there is an internship availability is there. You can just refer my name, send in your, you will be given 3 to 4 months internship with some possible stipend also because you need to work, you need to get exposed. You may ask to visit some of the producer group, take up some assignment, and your assignment will be assessed. You'll be graded and you'll be written a kind of good intern certificate. Fair Trade Forum India will do it across the country, and we can also place some of the interested students with our groups in South India. All that we require is that they should know the local language. Unfortunately, as you know that in southern states, Hindi speaking belt is very, very less. So if you really want to know the local people, you should know the local language. Otherwise, you should be willing to learn as quick as possible. So if somebody is ready, I'm willing to help them. They can reach me through cpadfairtrade@gmail.com. I had given it in the end. So I'll be happy to guide them and they can talk to the project partners and choose what is best suited for them.
Okay, sir. Sir, my last question is like, what is your success mantra for life?
Success mantra, I do not know I have succeeded or not, but I had sailed through all these 35 years in 35, 40 years in fair trade, and I was so happy to be able to work with up to 10,000 artisans in southern states. promoted Fair Trade Forum India, which has over 140 members across the country and part of the WFTO Asia and Global. I feel if you are committed, you can pursue. So all that you need is a commitment and willingness to sincerely work. And be it fair trade or be it any task, you can definitely face. And wherever you want to go, you may not always have a smooth sail, but you should be able to go for a bumpy road as and when it is comes across, so that in order to go for a smoother sailing. I had seen this, and I am sure today's youth, it is possible. Many people are really committed. I had seen number of them, because when I see the first impression, I think, oh, they will not fit in. But when I talk to them, they are more committed. So once you share your commitment level, opportunities are there, my dear friend. We can definitely help you.
So it was nice interacting with you, sir. So thank for your time, sir, you have given to us, and have a great day ahead, sir. Ma'am,
Thank you so much. I'll be happy to get your feedback. You can be critical, that helps me to improve.
yes, sir.
Uh,
Okay?
if I may,
Yes,
Panchuji, it's a pleasure
yes,
to
Sanjana.
see you.
Okay.
If I may call you Panchuji,
Oh, yes,
actually, it's
yes, yes,
a
my dear.
we
You can call Panju to uncle, whatever name you want.
having somebody who is the mentor for Dr. Sumitra Prasad, having them talk to us is a great honor for us. I, Saujanya Prasad, as part of the Foundation, take the pleasure, the pride, the honor to thank you for talking to us today, for interacting with us today, and allowing our interns to learn so much. We are recording this interview so that we can put it on Dore Foundation social media page as well, so that more and more students, and not just students, but more youth and other people are also inspired. I think it's incredible how, you started at a very young age. You told us that you started at the very beginning. From when you were a student, you have been creating social ripples, and also teaching us about the humility of understanding people from the people's perspective, not being above them, not looking at them from a distance, being with them, living with them, working with them. That's how you can really understand and know a person. And only when you know a person, you can truly be human. So that, and also all the business experience that you've taught us, putting extra into creating good packaging, eco-friendly packaging, and what kind of an impact that can make on business, especially for business students. Our interns have come from ITM Business College. So for marketing students and business students, I think this is very, very good information to know from an experienced person, to get first-hand knowledge from somebody who's working at a global level. I think we are absolutely honored. Sir, thank you so much. We know the kind of work you've been doing. Sumitra ma'am herself, sees you as a mentor, sees you as a guru. So we are really honored that you've given us the time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are absolutely
Thank you.
honored.
Namaste. Say hello to
Thank you,
Sumi, who is a
sir.
good friend of
Definitely.
mine. And thank you. Wishing you all
Definitely.
the best, my dear young friends. God
Thank,
bless
Thank
you.
you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
thank you,
Thank you so
sir.
much.